For the last couple of weeks, we've been studying about what it means to actually be a Christian. A Christian is actually filled with joy, which we understand is a long-term joy, not a short-term joy. If Satan robs us of the characteristics that make us Christians, I apologize for the airplane, but we're going to keep shooting anyway. If Satan robs us of the characteristics that make us Christians, he cripples what we do. One of the worst things I hear people say is, I don't care how you believe, as long as you're living right. The problem is, if we're not believing the right things, we're not going to live the right way. Among the big things mentioned here is the unity of Christ. Whatever happens, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. This is the first verse of what we're starting to read today, which is Philippians chapter 1, verses 27 through 30. That's our assignment for the week. Now, I want you to think about this. Find an example or two in your own lives and someone else's life where how your beliefs have affected your actions. After all, we are to conduct ourselves in a Christ-like way. The next thing I want you to do is notice that Paul encourages readers to be consistent in their behavior and actions according to their faith. Why is a consistent life of faith such a powerful witness to unbelievers? And what does this suggest about the way that we as Christians can most effectively reach others with the gospel? Now you're going to notice a little later in our study around chapter 3 verse 20 that we are called citizens of Christ. Most of us in this study are of the United States of America. We're American citizens. We act a certain way. There's certain things when we go to another country, they can say, yeah, you're an American. But I'll put this in an example. When I was younger, I used to travel a bit around the world. I went to places like Germany, Italy, as far away as Israel, was over in Japan, Korea, Australia. There's some wonderful places. The thing is, one place I could always count on going to every once in a while was the American Embassy. No matter what country I was in, I could go there and they spoke English. There was even a couple of embassies that had McDonald's where I could go in and order a Big Mac. Now, I know that doesn't sound like much, but it's just when you're at the embassy, you're actually on American soil. When you're at the American Embassy in Munich, that's America while you're in that embassy. Now, I'm going to take this to a more spiritual level. We have our embassies. We have our churches that we go to. When we're at church, we're on holy ground. We're on God's territory. The thing is, when we leave the walls of the church, we become ambassadors. We represent who we are. We are Christians, and we are called to live that way. We are called to be ambassadors of love. We are pilgrims. There's so many things that can be called, but we are identified as Christians, whether we're Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterianism, whatever. I don't care. We are all united in a series of beliefs. Now, I want you to think. First assignment I want you to do on this involves a little bit of searching. I want you to, you can use a concordance, you can use the Bible search engine, for example, the online Bible at lifeway.com, that's the one I tend to use. I want you to look through the Bible and find some examples where it talks about the unity of believers. How we are all supposed to get together. Now, there are things out there that divide us. At different churches, we have different ways of worshiping. Some like rock and roll, some like organ, and will not have it any other way. And the thing is, when we take these to the extreme, when we let these get in the way of the things we need to be focusing on, they can divide us. And there's been churches that have split over something as simple as, where do we put the piano bench? And things like that are silly, and they divide us. Now, I want you to think about this. What are some of the issues that divide churches? And when a church is sitting there fighting among itself, what message is it sending to those who are watching? And how is a church or any body of believers struggling in this area do to change that? How do we become a united body of believers? These are the things I want you to think about. These are the things we'll be discussing on Saturday night. I'll see you then.